The following has been brought to you by RockSolidFanClub.ca.
Chris, did you know that real fans get it at RockSolidFanClub.ca? Did you know that there's a whole bunch of action on there? There's podcasts, there's road tours, there is some pretty crazy stuff on that site, and you can sign up for free, or you can pay a couple bucks, you can pay a bunch of bucks, and you can get access to a whole bunch of stuff. There's different levels and all that good stuff, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's even a notorious T.I.D. match or two on there.
Or 7.
Oh,
Probably.
7. Are you getting residuals? Good residuals?
No, not at all. Not at all. I signed my soul to the owner of that company for some reason. Shiesty guy that I don't even remember his name or if he even has a real name.
I heard he's a frail old man sitting in a mountaintop somewhere, just like pulling strings like the Wizard of Oz.
Speaking of old men, welcome to the club, young lad. Happy birthday shout out to LBW. Now, I want to ask you a very serious question, though, about this on your birthday. I'm not even playing around.
Ask me questions.
Let's get into this. Let's get into this right away. You've been around in the wrestling business long enough. You've known me in the wrestling business long enough. You've seen the matches that I've done in the past, right? The blood, the guts, the smashed in faces, the chairs, the tables, the jumping off of high stuff, the craziness that has really caused me to only have a 25 plus year career in professional wrestling. You've seen all of that stuff. So you know, and you've also seen what I've said no to.
Yes, I have. I've actually been beside you while you've been saying no to things. I think you've said no to, one out of every 3 matches with someone. You'll be like, no.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times it doesn't make sense. And a lot of people don't understand that, like, when you're still working that hardcore style, right, it still has to make sense, does it not?
It should.
Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to. Otherwise, it's just backyard shit, as far as I'm concerned.
But didn't Terry Funk always make it make sense? Most of the time, like 9 times out of 10, Terry Funk made it make sense.
11 times out of 10, Terry Funk could make it look like it was supposed to be there. 100%.
So my ratio was off. I was a little Greggish from Twitter. I get it.
And
yes, you're right.
There's guys that know how to do that, but there's a lot of guys that really don't. And then you got to ask yourself, what's really crossing the line? So now tie that in with what you have on and can see on TV now, right? The stories, the movies, the arcs. Everybody's talking about movie arcs, storyline arcs, fucking Noah's Ark, Joan of Arc. I don't give a shit. Too far is still too far. In the world of a movie, I understand because I know I'm watching a movie. And so when I see somebody do something outrageous, like putting a plastic bag over somebody's head, I know that as soon as that scene is done, somebody's yelling cut and somebody's just fine.
So you're referring to the Jungle Boy and Daniel Bryan match.
Let's start with that one.
Okay, because I didn't see that, but I did hear about it the next day. The one argument that I can make, and it's really, I don't know if it's irony or not. I didn't really plan to make this this comparison, but Terry Funk. Do you remember Terry Funk in WCW?
Mm-hmm.
Plastic bag over the head.
100%. There was a lot. There was a lot of throwback stuff, right?
It was an angle.
It was completely an angle. Let's talk about a hypodermic needle through the cheek.
Yeah, we know a couple of people personally that have done that spot before and done it in other parts of the body outside of the cheek. That viral video where there was a hypodermic needle stuck in a phallus. Is somebody we know. I actually was his agent for his very first match outside of his gym. So it's insane that young man is now.
I mean, you could look it up.
In his dick.
You could look it up, and now it's been done on TV at a scale that AEW has done it. And last, but certainly not least, the chair shot
This is the worst.
that went around the world twice. That's how loud that thing was. I heard it, and I wasn't even watching the show.
So I caught when I turned on AEW, I caught the last like 10 minutes of the pay-per-view. So it was into that match. That was the go home match. And when I heard that chair shot, and ever since I've been out of the business, I never go to sleep angry at the business. Like there's been times when I've been left the show and the promoters, whatever it is, and been angry at something about the business. But since I've been out of it and removed myself from it, I went to bed angry. I heard that chair shot, I seen it. I shut the phone instantly down. I said, "Fuck this shit."
Who are you angry at?
Everyone involved. Every single person involved. I used to think the world is Sir Strickland. It's not that I don't. I think he's a very talented individual.
Mhm.
Takes a certain type of person to take a chair shot like that, even before we knew about CTE. And now that we know about CTE, no one should be taking chair shots like that unless it's a fucking accident.
Well, but Brady, there's going to be people out there that have said it's a gimmick chair.
It ain't a gimmick chair. I don't care if
What?
it was a gimmick chair. I don't think that was a gimmick chair.
Listen, the only way that would have worked as a gimmicked chair is if that thing was actually bought at a dollar store. You know, the cookie sheets that you get at the dollar store when you hit somebody with them, they make that single, that little ting sound. It's not, it's a ting, like it's basically 3 sheets of aluminum foil back and forth. Right. That's how you get that. What you don't get is that deep resonating bass from the swinging and the smashing of a steel chair. There's lighter ones, then there are heavier ones. There are thicknesses of chairs. There's no doubt about it. Nothing was shaved down and then repainted or whatever. Doesn't
But Chris,
matter. It doesn't fucking matter.
What about the people that are listening or watching and saying, well, you guys talk about fighting and bare knuckle and you guys love boxing and that's dangerous and people have died in the ring. What's the difference with a big smash to the head? Why are you bitching so much about it?
Let me tell you what the difference is. The difference is you're not willing to stand there and take it. You're not giving up your body to somebody in the basically the thought that they are going to protect you. In the world of fighting and combat sports, you have the chance to defend yourself. You're not sitting there trying to get punched in the face. You're trying to not. That's the difference, people. In the world of professional wrestling, look me when I say this, in the world of professional wrestling, each and every competitor out there puts their lives in the other person's hands when they go out there to perform. So when you openly and just put your hands at your sides into your pockets, look up at the guy and just give him the Iggy with your eyeballs like, we got to put this over, brother. We got to sell this to the guys up in the nosebleeds up there, brother. I want people to hear this thing across the street, brother. Well, you know for a fact that if you want that moment, you're going to swing for the fences on this thing. And the fact of the matter is I've taken those chair shots like that. I'm sure that one was probably a little bit louder, but I don't know what the impact was. I've taken chair shots.
The only reason it was loud is because the crowd was already dead from having to watch that fucking pay-per-view that long.
Here's the thing. I've also taken chair shots that gave me severe concussions, split me open the hard way, caused it so that I couldn't go to a show. I took a chair shot at a show one time. And I was supposed to be at home was the halfway point. So we do the show. I go to home. We're going to get some sleep, get up in the morning, head to Michigan for another show the next day. I get home in the middle of the night. I wake up in the morning. A girl wakes me up. She's like, you're going to be late. You got to go. As she rolls over, she's like, she all of a sudden screams. I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to make it to the show today. And I'm laying in a pool of blood through the bandage that I'd put on my head and covered up.
Did you glue yourself or no?
Because oh yes.
Yeah.
But
and
it
went
didn't
through
matter.
the glue too. Right?
Went through everything.
Yeah, hematoma.
When I was hit, hematoma underneath, and when it hit, you could see it did like one of these San Andreas fault line where it lifted up above it, right? So I was like, I don't think I'm going to go. She's like, oh boy, okay, let's get this cleaned up. She goes, She tries to push it back down, clean it up, push it back down. Just about passed out cold. 6'4", 280 pounds. And she's a tiny little thing with these little minute, hands. She just pushes on it a little bit. That's all it took. And I was concussed for weeks after that.
How many of the boys do we know over the past 20 years, 30 years for you, that you've been in this industry, when they get rocked, some of them never come back from it, but most of them, it takes sometimes 6 weeks, 8 weeks, sometimes three months, 6 months, depending on the second degree or first degree concussion.
Listen, we're going to talk to a guy at the end of this show that is going to be a serious thing, and that's a guy who didn't willingly take those chair shots to the head just from repeated combat. Right. So stick around for the Gary Goodrich stuff. And at the end of the day, man, here's the thing with AEW. What do you do with this? How far do you go with this? Are you going to bring out a shotgun next time? Somebody going to get shot?
No, I hope so. And I hope it. Okay, so there's only one worker I've really been rough on this entire time that we've been doing this show, the 39th episode that's releasing now, has been that empty-headed fuck, Hangman Page. And I think if you're going to pull out a shotgun, let him Kurt Cobain himself on fucking live TV, because this shit, he's part of the problem, and get that mentality is part of the problem of just letting these guys go out there and do this to themselves. We are past that. A man murdered his fucking wife and kid, and when they cut his head open, they realized concussions was a big part of the issue as to why that probably happened. So when you get that fucking right in your face, because we all had it smashed in our fucking face that morning. That's the warning. That's the wake-up call. Just because it's 20 years later doesn't mean you start doing the shit again until you get another one. And I know history repeats itself and it's cyclical and all that, but fuck you. Come on. We're smarter than that. We're all smarter than that. We need to get Lewinsky on this show.
Monica?
Yep. Monica Lewinsky.
Oh.
Yep.
Listen, I agree 100%. And I think that we've said this for a long time. And we both keep going back and forth with this, love-hate relationship. Sometimes they do some really good things, but a lot of times they do a lot of knucklehead things. And this is going to be one of those things that eventually somebody is going to get seriously hurt on live television. And it's going to be bad for them because listen, what do you expect to happen? What are we going to have? Straight razors? You know what I mean? Beheadings. We're going to bring out a guillotine. We're going to catapult somebody across the arena. You know what I mean? Like, what's next? Boiling oil.
If Tony Khan could, it would be fucking CZW on TV. He'd let it happen half of the show. Thanks for watching that video. If you like that video and you want to see some other stuff, check out our catalog here on YouTube, or you can find us on any podcast provider anywhere in the world.
Yep.
Sportcards.com, the best in Canada. NHL, NBA, NFL, MLB, Pokemon, UFC, WWE. Totalsportcards.com, the hobby's best friends. That's Totalsportcards.com.
RockSolidFanClub.ca gives you full access to Canada's leader in professional wrestling, featuring legends like Mick Foley, modern megastars such as Cody Deaner, and future sensations like Tyler Turva. RockSolidFanClub.ca offers exclusive series, podcasts, live streams, specials, and full events, all for less than $9 a month. Sign up today at RockSolidFanClub.ca, where real fans get it.